Afternoon, Nick. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. We talked yesterday about failing in business, and I wanted to talk today about the lessons we learned. And we both agreed one of the key lessons was to value what it is that you offer to your clients and customers, because if you don't value it, nobody else will. And
Yes.
I think you've got a little example of that, haven't you? Up your sleeve.
Yes. First of all, we should explain to the viewer that the noise they can hear in the background is your son, my nephew, playing an instrument because he's just a musical whiz and that's what he does. That would be right, wouldn't it?
Saxophone and piano. That's what
Saxophone and piano. So there we are. And someone blowing into piano does make a very odd noise. So that's what that is. Yes, one of the things about valuing what it is, well, there's two sides to that: value what it is that you do, but also I think people should appreciate the value to the potential client or the potential customer of what it is that you do, because it's very easy to undersell yourself, and I suppose that manifests itself in not charging enough. That's certainly one of the lessons I learned from my first business in sandwiches, is that me and my then business partner Rob, we just didn't charge enough money. Right. But yeah, the story is I travel a lot, or I did travel a lot, on aircraft all over the world. So I'm constantly tired and I'm constantly going through airports. And a few years back, I was landing at Gatwick Airport, and then I had about 7 hours to kill before my connecting flight to Edinburgh. So I walked over to the Premier Inn, and some people will be familiar with the Premier Inn at Gatwick. It's right there at the North Terminal. And I asked, do you do a day rate? Can I just rent one of your rooms for a few hours? And she said, I'm not sure you'll want to do that. And I said, well, why not? She said, well, it's £45. She said, it's a lot of money. And I said, well, that's fine, but I've been traveling. And she said, are you sure? She said, you can just go through, she said, and sit in one of our chairs in the coffee bar and sit there and save yourself 45 quid. And I thought, on one level, that was really nice of her to do that, although I'm not sure her area sales manager would have been chuffed.
She wasn't going for the upsell there, was she?
Wasn't going for the upsell. No, you really don't want to stay here. Please don't give me money. But while she was well-meaning, she obviously didn't know the value to me and how much I was prepared to pay to get 3 hours sleep and a shower, having come into London from a long-haul flight. And she also doesn't know how much I earn and my circumstances and what value I would put on 3 hours worth of work. Okay, and I'm very lucky that I get paid handsomely for what I do. And £45 for 3 hours to get some shut-eye and a shower is just like, listen, I'll have that every day of the week. But what she assumed, and people do this actually in negotiations as well, Beck, is they assume that the interests of the other parties match their interests. Okay, this is a trap that people fall into. They just assume that their interests are matched by the other side's, and they're not. That's not always the case. So sure, value what it is that you do, but understand that the service that you provide, the product that you provide to the other person, they may perceive it as having a much greater value than you do.
That's great. As we prepare, or at least think about preparing for coming out of this odd period of time, I think the temptation might be to undervalue your product or service.
Yeah.
And actually what you need to be thinking about is how much other people are going to value what you deliver.
Yes.
Perhaps even more. Now, I'm not saying go out and profiteer. No,
absolutely not.
No. But certainly don't devalue what you do, because you're absolutely right. That might be pure gold dust to somebody, and it might be something you just take for granted.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Great. So never take yourself for granted. Always value what you do, because if you don't value it, nobody else will.
No, one has. It's not arrogant, but it's something
No.
that delegates. A phrase that was used to me many, many years ago in selling, in a selling context, is be proud of your price.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Be proud of your price. You know, you don't walk into, I don't know, a fancy pen shop, you know, like somewhere that sells Mont Blanc pens, and you ask how much is that pen, and they go, oh, it's £250. But honestly, you really, you can get cheaper pens. And there's no embarrassment. Yes, it's £250 for Mont Blanc pen. Would you like to try it, madam? It's absolutely beautiful. There's no embarrassment there. And you should be proud of your price.
Proud of your price. And we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for that, Nick. I'm just going to stop the recording, and I'll
Wonderful.
speak to you tomorrow.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye.